Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Let's jump into our cosmic weather, see what we've got to deal with today. Solar wind at 378.1 kilometers per second. Planetary K index currently at a 1, could get as high as a 3. Let's look at our coronal hole, see what we have on. Okay. Again, there's that image underneath here, and unless I am completely seeing this wrong, this looks like a straight edge, and I can imagine a triangle being here. Mitt, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like that to me. What do you think? Okay, M-class flare possibility 5% chance, X-class flare only 1% chance, and geomagnetic storm activity pretty low, next to nothing, as a matter of fact. Alright. And here we have, just for the viewing purposes here, if you're looking in the sky, you see this, the Martian triangle. We got Mars, Spica, and Saturn all together like this. This was last night, and you'll be able to see it again tonight if you look up in the sky, wondering what those planets and stars are. Alright, astrologically, we are on the last day of the sun sign of Leo, fire sign. So the conscious mind is getting ready to make that switch from Leo, the conscious mind, to the unconscious of Virgo, which is an earth sign. So the conscious mind is going from fire to earth. The unconscious mind itself is also dealing with the same, well, yeah, same thing. It's air and earth. That's what it's dealing with. So we got air, earth, and fire all being dealt with today as we're moving forward into the next phase. So that's consciously and unconsciously where we're headed and where we're at the moment. Our moon phase, 28% full, making our way up to that full moon. Mayan Oracle, 9-tone day. Excuse me, 8-tone day, a bar and 3 dots. The 8th tone is called the galactic tone of integrity. Integrity is like when you stay in a groove and keep going, the integrity of something. Integrity is important when we stay in a groove and we are in integrity with who we are. We're in the wave spell of the storm still. Position here of the World Bridger, which is the kin for today. So we've got the 8 World Bridger guided by the dog. Otherwise, this would be known as the Galactic World Bridger. The phrase for today is, I harmonize in order to equalize, modeling opportunity. I seal the store of death with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of heart. On the Gregorian calendar, it is the 22nd of August, 2012. All right. So, first order of the business today is I'm going to play this piece on the Bill of Rights. This is part 1. There's a couple of parts to it, so you'll be able to follow the link. But we're following along with the theme this week of the different political parties that are out there and the different ways in which we, are supposed to actually work versus the way we do. Yesterday we talked about the Constitution. Today the Bill of Rights. And yeah, hope you get a lot out of this. I'll be back. Here we go.
A Bill of Rights is what the people are entitled to against every government, and what no just government should refuse or rest on inference. Hello, I'm Alan Scholl, Director of the Freedom Project, sponsored by the American Opinion Foundation. In this episode of our Principles of the Constitution series, we're going to focus on the first 5 of the initial 10 amendments to the Constitution, also known as the Bill of Rights. Here's a question for you. True or false, the Bill of Rights was designed to give more power to the federal government? answer is false. The Bill of Rights was actually designed to put limitations on government. To start off with, I'd like to bring in our friend Dr. Smith. Doctor, tell us, did the Bill of Rights give Americans rights?
According to the Founding Fathers, the Bill of Rights did not create rights for Americans. Most of them would believe that the rights that we have are what they would call God-given rights. And the Bill of Rights simply recognizes those rights and then prevents government from infringing upon those particular rights. Government doesn't really create rights in that way, at least not in the way that the framers of our Constitution thought of as rights. Government respects our rights by limiting its actions in particular areas in which we do have those rights. And so our freedom of speech exists regardless of what our government does, according to the Founding Fathers. Our government respects our freedom of speech by not passing laws that infringe upon that freedom of speech. And so government doesn't create the right. Government merely recognizes the right as defined by the Bill of Rights.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. It was in 1789 that the amendments were introduced as a series of legislative articles by our fourth president, James Madison. 2 years later, in 1791, they were approved by 75% of the states and became the first 10 amendments. The Bill of Rights was designed to protect the natural rights of all Americans, to set limits on what the government can and can't do in regards to personal freedoms. The original concept of a Bill of Rights was extremely controversial. Many argued that it wasn't necessary. One such person who argued that it wasn't necessary was Alexander Hamilton, who said, "Here, in strictness, the people surrender nothing, and as they retain everything, they have no need of particular reservations." In other words, Hamilton feared that by listing specific rights, any rights that weren't listed might be lost. Someone who was very much in favor of a Bill of Rights was Thomas Jefferson, who said, "Half a loaf is better than no bread. If we cannot secure all our rights, let us secure what we can." The Bill of Rights reserves all rights not mentioned in the Constitution to the people themselves or the states. Originally, 12 articles were proposed, but only the last 10 were ratified by the states. The articles not originally included were Article 1, which dealt with the number of U.S. representatives, Article 2, which limited the power of Congress to increase its own salaries, which was eventually added as the 27th Amendment. Looking at the first 5 amendments, the first establishes individual freedoms such as free speech, free press, and free assembly. The First Amendment states, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances." In other words, the Founding Fathers wanted the citizens to be able to critique the government without risking punishment. The Second Amendment has to do with the militia and the right to keep and bear arms. It states, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." The founders had come from countries where the only people who had weapons were the soldiers. In fact, the founders felt so strongly about the citizens being armed that Patrick Henry said, "The object is that every man be armed." The Third Amendment deals with soldiers forcing their way into private homes. It says, "No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law." This amendment was made because British troops were staying in American homes without permission. The Founding Fathers wanted to make sure this never happened again. The Fourth Amendment focuses on the rights Americans have if law enforcement wants to search your property. In more detail, it says, "The right of the people to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated." The entire Fourth Amendment protects Americans from government harassment or seizure of property without constitutional justification. It is really the only amendment that confirms the right of private property and requires law enforcement to prove legal cause before entering your property for any purpose. The Fifth Amendment covers rights found in the court system, including due process and being charged with the same crime twice. No person shall be held to answer for any capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life. The Fifth Amendment also protects citizens from testifying against themselves, and it protects personal property. Did you get all that? Let's find out. Question 1, true or false? The Bill of Rights gave Americans rights. The answer is false. The Founding Fathers were clear that man's rights were inherent and God-given. The Bill of Rights merely acknowledged them. Question 2. Who drafted the Bill of Rights? A. Abraham Lincoln. B. Thomas Jefferson. C. Alexander Hamilton. Or D. James Madison. The answer is D, James Madison. He actually drafted 12 amendments, but only 10 were ratified. Question 3. Which is not listed in the First Amendment? A. Freedom of speech. B. Freedom of the press. C. The right to bear arms. Or D. The right of peaceful assembly. And the answer is C. The right to bear arms is protected under the Second Amendment. Question 4. The Third Amendment deals with what? A. Freedom of the press. B. The right to bear arms. C. Quartering soldiers. Or D. Double jeopardy. The answer is C, quartering soldiers. The founders wanted to be sure soldiers stayed in designated barracks and not people's homes. Question 5. The Bill of Rights contains what? A, the first 12 amendments. B, the first 10 amendments. C, the first 8 amendments. Or D, the first 5 amendments. The answer is B. James Madison submitted 12 originally, but only 10 were ratified. How did you do? Hopefully we were able to teach a little more about the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution. Next time we'll take a look at the last 5, or the second half, of the Bill of Rights. I'm Alan Scholl for the Freedom Project. Welcome home.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. This is the UFO News for today. 5 stories for you. Here we go. Story number 1 comes to us from Palos, California. Strange metal object. That is strange looking. From right there, came back. Let's see. This was from July 12, but announced in August. Something strange was spotted in the sky over Dos Palos, and it was captured on camera. The unidentified object was spotted by several flying in the valley about a month ago. Okay, let's listen to what is being said about this.
Actually just sent us in a picture her
Right.
dad shot, so I'm going to post that online. It is incredible to be that close to those big whales.
To something that big
Oh, I
and
know.
alive.
I would have a heart attack. Well, from the ocean to the air, something strange was spotted in the sky over Dos Palos and was caught on camera.
KMPH News reporter Eric Rosales went in search of the unidentified flying object that is now the talk of the town.
Dos Palos, home to a number of civic organizations along with the Jailhouse Museum and the Cotton Festival, but it's also home to a number of UFO sightings, and the latest has the town talking.
I know that's a UFO for sure.
Do you know what this is?
It just looks like something metal going up in the air with like smoke and stuff coming out of it. I don't know what it is.
Maybe like somebody setting off a missile somewhere.
It's definitely Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy's going up again. I don't know.
Ah, yes, Balloon Boy 6-year-old Falcon Heaney, who had America worried when we all thought that he was on a runaway balloon flying over Colorado. That is until Falcon let the cat out of the bag.
We did this for the show.
Show or not, this unidentified flying object was spotted by several flying over Dos Palos about a month ago.
You saw that?
Yeah. Right here.
You saw it? You actually saw it in the sky?
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what that was, but we couldn't really spot it out. It looks strange.
Although Dos Palos residents don't have a clue, I spoke to scientists at the National Weather Service out of Hanford to get their opinion. And they said they haven't seen a weather balloon that looks like that ever. So, your guess is as good as mine. So until someone or something comes forward, Valley residents say that they will keep their eyes on the sky. In Dos Palos, Eric Rosales, KMPH News.
Well, we also tried to contact the Federal Aviation Administration to see if they spotted anything on radar. Our calls were not returned. So I guess that means it's still unidentified.
All right, so there you go. That's that sighting. Pretty weird, huh? Let's move right along then to the next one. This is same UFO, 3 different angles. Achalm Castle. An intriguing UFO video posted to YouTube is notable because of the unusual facts that 3 different people from various angles recorded the same sighting over the ancient ruins of Achalm Castle in Germany. The identified flying object was captured on tape. Looks enormous as it spins on it like a top. A close-up of the object doesn't reveal much identifiable detail. Alright, let's see what we have here about this incident. Okay, same UFO, different angles. Okay, here we go. Right, see right there in the middle. I'm going to zip through because it's a couple minute long video. Alright, there's another angle of it. Alright. And one more right here. So there you go. This is pretty good. Multiple angles and multiple images of this, pictures of the same image. So that's pretty cool. Alright, next around here, classic flying saucer UFO spotted in Mexico. Flying saucer near Cuernavaca, Mexico on Sunday. Incident has all the earmarks of a spontaneous, unstaged event. Alright, well, let's fly in. Flying object caught on tape doesn't resemble any known craft. So let's find out what it is. Okay. Alright, is that what we're looking at here, the white thing? Okay. Alright, I'm looking, I'm not quite seeing if this is... There we go. It's right there in the bottom, and it's making its way to the middle. Alright, this is over Mexico. Pretty good. And then we have a couple stories here for you. Updates on MUFON. First one, this is what's going on with MUFON lately. Let me let you hear this. Good stuff.
Almost a brand new vision. Got new management, brand new location, with a really bright, strong future and just a very positive outlook.
At At the recent 2012 MUFON Symposium, held at the Kentucky Conference Center in Covington, Kentucky across the river from Cincinnati, Ohio, Dave MacDonald outlined his plans for the changes he wants to instigate at MUFON. MacDonald took over for Clifford Cliff, the previous MUFON head, in February of 2012.
The 1st of February I had to step down because I have family health issues that need to be addressed, and I can't serve two masters. I can't serve MUFON and my family's health issues that need to be addressed.
We brought on 3 interim board members for a 2-year period for them to take a look at us and for us to take a look at them. And Dave was on the board as an interim, and he says, I've got the place to do that. I can step in very quickly.
Another big announcement made was that MUFON acquired 60 volumes of Leonard Stringfield's research, stretching over 30 years. Stringfield's name is synonymous with ufology, having participated in almost every major American UFO organization and project, along with bringing the subject of crashed UFOs to mainstream American ufology.
60 volumes, meticulously laid out, indexed. It's in a journal form, and it was kept on a day-to-day basis, and in some cases almost dictated verbatim. The amount of information is absolutely staggering. It's inspiring, it's encouraging, it's enlightening. There are names such as Donald Rumsfeld, who not in his role today, but in his role in the 70s, because I think he was Chief of Staff to Gerald Ford. Alan Hynek and Leonard Stringfield briefed them monthly, sometime twice a month. And that's how important the UFO phenomenon was to them.
The symposium also included a trip to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where the group was able to tour the Air Force Museum.
That was something that all of them have wanted to do one time or another. I want to go to Wright-Patterson and see, by golly, what it's all about.
The MUFON Board of Directors is hoping these new changes can bring in a new, younger generation of members.
We're in a position where I hope we can find some younger folks. There's 2 or 3 in the organization, a fellow named Bill Konkoleski. I don't know if you've met Bill or not, but he's quite young, and someone who could very easily move up into the board position. And then John Greenewald, of course, he started off as a very young person, very active, and MC for us every year, has his own Black Vault going, but there again is a young person that's going to be in this business. But that's only 2.
William Konkoleski has been the Michigan State MUFON director since 2004.
For those people that are younger, I think it takes a lot of courage to be involved in something like this, and got to applaud that. And so I've been blessed that I haven't really received much backlash from my work, my friends, my family, anything. You know, I've got nothing but support.
Dave MacDonald is nothing but excited about the changes and his new position with MUFON. He sees this opportunity for the organization to grow exponentially.
Not only in membership, but in respect, in professionalism, and just increase the brand. I truly see MUFON as the absolute cutting edge, the leader in the investigation of UFO phenomena.
All right, very good. And one more story. So good stuff coming out of MUFON. Just imagine one landing. They showed up. That would really change everything for MUFON. And of course the whole world. But, all right, here we go. Last one, I got this video link there. This is a compilation video. It's about an hour long. This is a compilation video for you. Unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP or UFO. This is all kind of stuff dealing with Anunnaki, documentary, UFOs, news reports. It's a whole compilation of stuff. So there's a lot of good information here. I was watching through it. Lots of good stuff. So I wanted to make that available to you. And that is our UFO news report for today. Let me jump away to a song. I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth. People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
ready to continue on? So am I. All right, what we got next is, well, Mitt Romney. What do you think of Mitt Romney? Seems like he might be a nice guy on the outside. I don't know the guy personally, never met the guy. But he just seems like he's in a position in life where he probably can't relate to most people because he's never been in the same position with his money, how he's, gone through his life and lived and what have you. But one thing that's kind of weird about the guy is he flip-flops back and forth. It seems that we really have an issue with choosing leaders that don't stand by their words, by their integrity. And that's so important. Imagine if we had a leader who actually stood by the things that he said, rather than just saying them and letting them go. So this is the latest from Mitt Romney. It says he wants to audit the Fed. But we've heard Mitt Romney say out and about many times how he won't audit the Fed, doesn't want to audit the Fed, because he's benefiting from the Fed. So let's listen to what Mitt Romney has to say here. Make of it what you will.
Now, the guy's depreciating the dollar. We're seeing this huge inflation of energy prices, including gasoline prices at the pump. What do you think of Ben Bernanke?
Well, I think Ben Bernanke is a student of monetary policy. He's doing as good a job as he thinks he can do in the Federal Reserve. But look, I'm not going to spend my time going after Ben Bernanke. I'm not going to take my effort and focus on the Federal Reserve. I'm going to focus my effort on the administration.
Yeah, but the falling dollar is absolutely crucial to many of the things that ail us. The consumer price index is jumping.
No question.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. I am Matt Larson 10, and that audio that you just listened to was Mitt Romney on the Kudlow Report, April 15th. Now, as you heard there, he thinks Ben Bernanke is doing a fantastic job. He wants to leave the Fed alone. They're doing a great job all the way up to his ability because he is the student of finance and all that good stuff. He's just the God, the Messiah, basically, and Ben Bernanke can do no wrong. Well, the coin has been flipped again. The sandal has changed shoes. Mitt has flip-flopped like on almost every single issue possible. Mitt Romney now supports an audit of the Fed because we need, and I want to quote this verbatim, very plain and simple. The answer is yes. The Federal Reserve should be accountable. We should see what they're doing. Now, they even keep going in the article and they say, Mr. Romney, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee, said that in a town hall yesterday in New Hampshire. This is the Washington Times. How did I not see this coming? Oh, wait, yes. I think I did say that Mitt Romney will flip and say anything he can to try to get all the people to buy into his BS, because that's all this is. It's BS lip service. He's saying whatever he can to get into office because evidently he thinks the American people are dumb enough to not look back to April of this year and see what he says about the Federal Reserve. Mitt Romney is so stupid and he thinks we are even dumber that he can flip-flop in the same debate. He's a habitual liar, and he's very good at it, evidently. If there are that many people out there, I still don't believe the true numbers, but if there's that many people out there that are willing to vote for Romney because he is the true conservative, and now that he has substance in his campaign with Paul Ryan, the fiscal conservative who voted for Medicare Part D, he was one of the strongest proponents for TARP, what else is America going to get out of these two people? If you want someone that actually will audit the Federal Reserve, there's only one person running in the Republican race right now that will give you that audit of the Federal Reserve and then the shutdown of the Federal Reserve. And that's Ron Paul. So I know the people that are watching my videos aren't stupid and they understand that what Romney's saying right now is crap. But hopefully, if you're one of these strangers that just kind of rolled in because you saw the headline, Mitt Romney wants to audit the Federal Reserve, look up Mitt Romney. Do yourself some good and learn about the guy that you want to vote for. Because I think the person you will really want to vote for after doing some research on Romney, his name is Ron Paul. It's not Mitt Romney. It's not Paul Ryan. It's Ron Paul. And I've said this over and over. So I ask that you thumbs up this video, share it with friends and family. I'm going to post the whole disgusting Washington Times article in the description down below. Read it if you want. You basically just got the gist of it right there. They even start off this article, borrowing Representative Ron Paul's presidential campaign push. Duh. That's Ron Paul's whole career in politics, is ending the Fed. Sound money. No deflation of the value. The dollar does not go down. We don't need inflation. All this crap. Ron Paul talks about it. But anyways, if you're new to my videos, make sure you click that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the current Ron Paul news. I'm Matt Larson 10. Go Ron Paul. Peace.
All right. You know, I think if we looked up in the dictionary the word flip-flop, we'd see Mitt Romney's picture there. That guy flip-flops so much. Come on. People don't really believe that. Do you think people believe that? I know that there are people out there. Just pay attention. I know folks who only watch Fox News. Whatever Fox News says, they take verbatim as if it's the greatest news to hit the world. And all this stuff about Romney and now Ryan and everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. And the latest stuff, how about hearing Ryan? Did you hear? Supposedly he likes Rage Against the Machine. Really? Apparently he's never really listened to the words. Maybe he only likes the groove of the music, because if he listened to the words, he would realize that they seem to be against what he is about and against what Romney is about. But, you know, it's just one of the lies. They think people are stupid. And you know why they think that? Because people keep getting fooled. So if you keep getting fooled out there, join those who aren't being fooled anymore. Step over the line, wipe the illusion out of your eye, and join those who have their eyes open and are not being fooled by their lies and their nonsense anymore. The only way you're going to do that is step forward and, you know, decide. Decide for yourself. You're not going to get caught up in lies and nonsense. Okay, here's another one. Listen, look at this. Look at the hypocrisy here. Obama knocks Romney for not releasing medical records. Yet this guy, Mr. Shuck and Jive, hasn't released his. Lately, the media has been beating up Barack for not giving them enough love and attention. Out of frustration, the media didn't heckle or taunt Obama like they did Romney in Poland, but the message was sent, and in just a few minutes ago, Obama surprised everyone in the White House room with an unscheduled press conference. This was brilliant timing on the president's part. All last week, the Romney campaign was on offense, and Obama was dealing with Vice President race baiter and a campaign that had gotten so vicious that it finally backfired. But with the media all excited and eager to use the GOP Senate candidate Todd Akin's rape comments to damage the Romney-Ryan ticket and the GOP as a whole, Obama picked the perfect time to come before the White House press corps. First off, by surprising the media, he knew the few good ones in there wouldn't be ready to hit him up with tough questions. So, basically, I mean, come on. Come on now. This is hypocrisy. How do you have a man in office who's pointing his finger at another man who wants to run and say you have to show your documents of who you are, open them up, while at the same time his are closed? And Americans will just buy into that. Because one thing that can be counted on in this country, there's a lot of folks who claim that they're Republicans and claim they're Democrats so hardcore on either side that they don't actually see the issues. All they see is Democratic, Republican, and they bounce back and forth. And because so many people are locked into that paradigm of Democrat, Republican, they're not seeing the issues, they're not really understand what's going on, and they don't understand that that game is being run behind the scenes by someone who's just keeping everybody going back and forth. You got to stop playing the game. Democrat, Republican, they're on the same side. They are on the same side. Go back to the video from Monday. Okay? You've got 100% government, no government. There's a scale that is there from 100% to 0%, and yet one's on the right, one's on the left. That is not in line with the paradigm that we're told to follow. So we are being misinformed as a whole on how things work. We're being told that we're on this side when it couldn't possibly be, because the two right and the left sides are actually both here together. And, you know, there's a whole different format and stuff going on out there. And as long as people continue to be stupid, As long as people continue to deny the real evidence, as long as people continue to turn away from facts, give up their thought process to government agencies or media, they are going to keep fooling you. It's the nature of the business. It's the nature of the business to tell you a story and have you believe it. It's the nature of the business so much that television shows and movies have been made about that particular subject. Wag the Dog in particular. Look at the TV series Newsroom that's out now. So, it's up to the people. People got to step up. This isn't about the government. Government's failed us. The government has absolutely failed the people. The government has collapsed. The military is broken because they apparently aren't able to go in and remove someone from power if he's unconstitutional or committing treason against the government. So the military power is apparently gone. The judicial branch, well, we see how corrupt they are with the people that are on the judges' panel, the judges' bench there, and their ties and connections to things. We know that the administration is broken. Congress is broken. The media, we know, is broken. So everything that we rely upon as a system in this country is broken. That is, everything that's related to the government structures. So we have lots of good people trying to make a broken system work. Well, you know how that happens, or how that goes, right? You can't make a broken system work no matter how hard the people try to make it work. And I know there are a lot of people in this country and around the world trying to make the systems work, but they're broken systems. We've got to eliminate them. Does that mean eliminate government? Well, we have to restructure it because our government's not working. Our military's not. None of it. I'm not going to reiterate. None of it's working. So what are we going to do? We've got to step away from looking at the right side and the left side and thinking that this is the only way to go. We need to understand how it works. We need to put on our thinking caps and figure out a solution. Not blame anybody. We've done that long enough. The problems go back much deeper than this administration or the one before it. The problems go back a long time because we have been asleep and not paying attention for a long time. Let's pay attention. Let's really step up. Hey, 2012 is supposed to be the year when people step up. We're in the end of it, so this could be the time. Here we have a man, Paul Joseph Watson's article, man kicked off flight over anti-TSA shirt. I can't even complain about them anymore. A man and his wife were treated as potential terrorists and kicked off Delta Airlines flight over a satirical t-shirt because it made passengers and employees feel very uncomfortable. Writing on his blog, Arjit Khub describes how he was flying out of Buffalo Niagara Airport after attending his wife's grandfather's funeral. Having passed through security without a problem, he was approached by a Delta agent who informed him that his attire was making passengers nervous. The t-shirt features a TSA logo along with the text that satirizes the agency's paranoid and overbearing approach to airport security. I was then questioned by TSA about the significance and meaning of the shirt. I politely explained that I was mocking the security theater charade and overreactions to terrorism by the general public, both of which we're seeing right now, ironically. The agents inquired as to the meaning of the term ZOMG and who it was I thought was going to kill us all. As best that I could tell, it seemed to find my explanation. I didn't think anyone would be killing us all, and I was poking fun at the outright irrational fears exhibited by certain members of the flying public to be satisfactory. Oh, folks, come on now. What are we going to do? Remember the video on Monday? And it talked about how political powers come into play and how one of the things that Hitler used to bring himself into power was the brown shirts. Well, we've got TSA agents acting like the brown shirts. Hello, McFly, are you out there? Are you listening? How many of you out there have said, what happened in Nazi Germany will never happen here again? Guess what? You slipped up. Something got by, and it's happening here again. It just hasn't gotten to those extremes yet. So you need to turn away from denial, and you need to turn into the reality of what's going on. These TSA agents are only going to be stopped when we stop them. Americans, you keep buying into too much nonsense, too much fear, too many lies. I know everyone's not. I know if you're listening to this show, you are out there seeking and you're trying to figure out a solution, as I am. So, I'm just voicing frustrations. All right. Now, here's a piece. This has to do with the
popping up all over the internet.
Shooting. Here we go.
Well, I'm hoping that by the end of this video you'll have the same suspicions that I do, because popping up all over the internet, along with certain things being scrubbed, is some really high quality videos which are detailing a story which was completely missed by the mainstream media. It has to do with a girl named Bonnie Kate Pourciau, I guess that's her name, and a heroic Chris Lakota. Chris Lakota runs into Theater 9 to actually physically stop this event from occurring, and instead he doesn't find the shooter but finds Bonnie Kate, who's been shot in the knee area, upper shin, knee area, and decides to carry her out. He carries her out to the front. Now we have this cell phone footage, this new cell phone footage that's popping up out of nowhere, and it has her being relocated to the far corner. Okay, it just so happens to be the corner that all of the the skeptics of this have been saying it has a lot to show, as far as Holmes not being the only person involved, that there was a second gas mask over here, that there's a crime scene, that there's blood over here. And anyway, he sets her down over here, and she eventually gets taken by a cop. Suddenly on the internet we have this very well done stuff about Bonnie Kate, and what do we see right here? It's like Bonnie Kate, it had some sort of interview on Fox News. Well, I do the search, I can't find anything, and except for that Greta Van Susteren claims on the website that she had an interview with her in her bed, and lo and behold, I can't find that interview. And she even says, just assuming it is her, remember when we had that interview with Bonnie Kate? Well, look, she's walking. Well, Bonnie Kate, it's even taken a step further. She's the only other person that had a photo op with Obama. I don't know, maybe, supposedly other people would have had photos, but if you look on the internet for the photos, you won't find them. You'll find the Alley neck wound story, you'll find Bonnie Kate, but you won't find anything else. You will find Obama solemnly speaking to the brother of Jessica Galway, who was murdered that night. Anyway, so it's kind of like a big deal, right? And lo and behold, I'm finding out why they dropped this, because they have a gas mask and a knife over there, so they need to, in fact, Dan Oates originally said something to the extent of, oh, well, he was impersonating, he was basically implying he was impersonating a police officer, and luckily we caught him because he had something non-regulation about his uniform. And that happened to be something about the gas mask, which I posit in a video showing how they edited the gas mask and the knife out, is that there's a nozzle missing. And so, the question is that what he means by the lack of the regulation gas mask? Either way, when they're doing this, they're effectively confirming that Holmes is being arrested in or at his car, at the white car, right? Because Oates that night said he was arrested in the back parking lot near a car. Just leaving it open for equivocation. So irritating.
All right, so there you go. Just another piece of information, kind of bizarre about the whole thing. They have in the other videos that's out there. I don't know if if you get a chance to check them out. These other videos popping up, they're very well done. It's not like it was a home footage that somebody took. I mean, someone made a movie out of those events, and it's very very interesting. All right, Louisiana sinkhole. Just there's contaminants found, deadly contaminants. This was as the Bayou Corn disaster sinkhole grew Friday another 20 feet closer to Texas. Bryan's falling storage cavern, Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality water and air tests of the gas bubbles and sinkholes are showing cancer-causing and numerous other negative health impact contaminants, according to official records and an analysis released Tuesday. Water in bio-corn sinkhole is contaminated with saltwater, diesel chemicals associated with diesel contaminants such as volatile organic chemicals, ethyl benzene, toluene, xylene, and a large number of polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons such as naphthalene, arthacene, pyrene, according to a written statement released Tuesday by the state's primary non-government agency. So, something to keep our attention to. Just pay attention to how that hole's growing. All right, here is a article. This is by Major General Jerry Curry, retired, and he asked a good question. Who does the government intend to shoot? Social Security Administration confirms that it is purchasing 174,000 rounds of hollow point bullets to be delivered to 41 locations in major cities across the United States. No one has yet said what the purpose of these purchases is, though we are led to believe that they will be used only in an emergency to counteract and control civil unrest. Those against whom the hollow point bullets are to be used, those causing the civil arrest, must be American citizens, since the SSA has never been used overseas to help foreign countries maintain control of their citizens. So what would be the target of these 174,000 rounds of hollow point bullets? It can't simply be to control demonstrators or riots. Hollow point bullets are so lethal that the Geneva Convention does not allow their use on the battlefield in the time of war. Hollow point bullets don't just stop or hurt people. They penetrate the body, spread out, fragment, and cause massive damage to the body's organs. Death often follows. Potentially, each hollow point bullet represents a dead American. If so, why would the U.S. government want the SSA to kill 174,000 of our citizens, even during a time of civil unrest? Or is the purpose to kill 174,000 of our nation's military and replace them with the Department of Homeland Security's Special Security Forces, forces loyal to the administration, not the Constitution? Well, these are good questions. There's more to the article. But good questions. Something's going on out there. The people need to be prepared. I don't know how you prepare for an event like this. I guess the best way is to be prepared mentally and spiritually, because we don't know where we're going to be when calamity or disaster strikes, or what's going to go on in the world. We just need to pay attention, keep our wits about ourselves these days, because things seem to be happening fast and furious. All right. Edgar Cayce made a lot of predictions. It's called The Sleeping Prophet. Help people with healings. This is a piece about him, about his predictions. I'm going to play this before we head into the meditation for today. Here we go.
The man whose prophetic and predictive talents continue to baffle even the most hard-nosed skeptics. With his 8th grade education, he uncovered secrets of our past that no historians could have known. He predicted wars, diagnosed and cured illnesses, and saw cataclysmic changes to our planet that only scientists could have described. And he did it all in his sleep. A man named Edgar Cayce had the amazing ability to put himself in a trance and provide individuals with detailed information about virtually anything they asked about the present, the past, or the future.
Edgar Cayce is probably the most profoundly important clairvoyant of all time.
He was clearly the most gifted psychic of the 20th century.
He predicted the Second World War, the deaths of presidents, the future of medicine, and diagnosed illnesses in his sleep. His psychic readings, 14,306 of them, are all archived and cataloged at the Association for Research and Enlightenment in Virginia Beach, Virginia. They remain the most massive collection of psychic material collected from a single source.
Edgar Cayce didn't give 10, 20, 500 readings in his career. He gave 14,000. Think of a Las Vegas stage performer having to come up with a different routine twice a day, every day for 45 years. It's just not possible.
Edgar Cayce gave readings about many, many different subjects. Nostradamus wasn't quite as eclectic.
But like Nostradamus, Cayce was very sought after in his lifetime, and like his French counterpart, he also remained humble about his ability.
Both of them were men who were deeply committed to a life of compassion and service to others. Both were very interested in health and healing. Nostradamus was a physician. Edgar Cayce was an intuitive diagnostic physician of sorts.
Edgar Cayce and Nostradamus both started as healers, but later became more famous as prophets.
Cayce was about to discover new, amazing abilities. His spine-chilling visions were about to turn him into the greatest prophet of the 20th century.
Spectacular earth change predictions. Something that would be catastrophic, probably even beyond what we could imagine.
Nostradamus to the Mayas. Prophets and prophetic traditions the world over warn of cataclysmic earth changes that will soon be upon us.
The ancient Mayans had a sense that there would come a time, about in these times in which we're living now, that would include tremendous destruction. They speak about the day of the withered fruit and the great tempest, things that sound rather scary.
The Hopi speak of trees dying and dramatic changes in the weather that will bring in the great day of purification. Nostradamus speaks of the dead rising from their grave. And Prophet Mother Shipton warns,
"Storms shall rage and oceans roar, old worlds shall die and new be born."
As for Cayce's predictions for the new millennium, they are as dire as all the other prophets before him.
Edgar Cayce made some extraordinary and spectacular earth change predictions. Probably the biggest one was that the rotational axis of the earth would change. And that's something that would be catastrophic, probably even beyond what we could imagine if that took place literally.
If the tilt axis of the earth shifted slightly, the entire mass of the earth would have to reconfigure itself. It would shift ocean basins, it would shift where valleys are, where mountains are.
Some of Cayce's visions of that future were truly terrifying.
He speaks of Japan going into the ocean, inundations for southeastern United States, perhaps in a very slow way, but a permanent kind of inundation.
Cayce also warned the East Coast would not be spared.
Portions of the now east coast of New York, or New York City itself, will in the main disappear. This will be another generation, though. Here, while the southern portions of Carolina, Georgia, these will disappear. This will be much sooner.
He also suggests that Europe would change either geologically or climatologically in the twinkling of an eye.
Cayce actually foresaw these as part of the shifting of the poles. He stated that the Great Lakes would flow down through the Mississippi Valley system and from there flow right into the Gulf.
Amazingly, Cayce, who knew nothing about plate tectonics, said signs within the Earth would warn us of this coming pole shift.
The most dramatic predictions that Edgar Cayce made is that there would be the onset of major earth changes that would escalate in activity from 1958 on through 1998. From that period on, these trends, they would escalate again, then we would know that the pole shift was coming.
There will be the upheavals in the Arctic and in the Antarctic that will make for the eruption of volcanoes in the torrid areas, and this will begin in those periods in 58 to 98.
Volcanic activity events are increasing. The torrid zone activity has increased along with general world increase by something like 500% in the last 50 years.
Cayce also predicted a surge in violent storms and earthquakes in this period. In the last 10 years, hurricane activity in the Atlantic has been at its highest, and an increasing number of earthquakes are being detected around the globe. And in 1999, German researchers measured more than 200 earthquakes in a period of 7 months above the Arctic Circle. Are Cayce, Shipton, Nostradamus, and the Mayan Hopis before them reading from the same book of prophecy?
People from different cultures seem to have been able to tune into a kind of universal mind. that same level that Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce seem to have been able to tune into also.
Is the world as we know it about to end?
Some disaster with our skies, with our crops, with our rising oceans, they all can basically agree on that. They may emphasize one aspect more than others, but they all share the fact that we are entering a period of evolutionary crisis.
So many different prophetic traditions have talked about times of destruction, times of dire cataclysm, death, devastation. More than anything, those predictions are a wake-up call for all of us, as individuals, as a nation, as a world, to look at our relationship to the earth, to nature, and to our relationship with each other.
As dire as his Earth prophecies appear, Cayce believed in living in the present. He also believed, like Nostradamus and other prophets before him, that we have a hand in how the future will unfold. Still, in 1939, just as Cayce had predicted, a Second World War broke out. And in 1941, as America became entangled in the conflict, more and more people wrote or came to him asking about the fate of loved ones who were fighting abroad.
Edgar, in his own readings, was reminded to give not more than 2 a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, because each psychic reading was emotionally draining to a system. Well, Edgar Cayce could not say no to people, and that ultimately brought his downfall, because by the summer of 1944 he was giving 7 and 8 readings a day.
In September of 1944, fatigued and depleted, Edgar Cayce suffered a stroke. He died on January 3rd, 1945 in Virginia Beach. He's buried in his hometown of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Outside the cemetery, a bronze plaque stands as a testament to his work. But to many, he was more than just a great prophet.
Relegating Edgar Cayce to the place of someone who simply predicted the future makes Edgar Cayce an event. And in my opinion, the material is so helpful, so valuable, that it's much more a source of information that helps people in the here and now.
He isn't any one thing. That is, you can't stick him in a box and label it mystic. You can't stick him in a box and label him psychic. You can't stick him in a box and label him prophet. At the end of the day, Edgar Cayce's readings are not about whether he was right or wrong about Egyptian or Atlantean history, or whether there even was that kind of history. I think at the end of the day, what matters is that he helps us to better understand who we are and why we're here.
Today, the Cayce materials continue to provide insights into most every subject under the sun. Whatever he did and however he did it, Cayce, like all the great seers before him, left behind a vision of what our future could be. Whether that future unfolds remains to be seen.
And since that future and his predictions involves 2012, more specifically some of them around December 21st, 2012, guess what? That's 121 days away from now. So since we have a target date that something is going to happen between now and then, these next 121 days could be quite action-packed. And we can certainly tell that there's a lot of action taking place in life these days, and is probably going to accelerate. All right, let's jump into our meditation, wrap things up for today. Close your eyes and relax. All right, imagine that you are walking along a path. And as you are walking along that path, you see many others. Some going in the same direction that you are going, some going in other directions. And you keep walking along, listening to the integrity within your own heart. And as you follow along, following your integrity, you find a sense of purpose, because associated with integrity, being in the groove with who you are, is an understanding of who you are. And the more you understand who you are, the easier it is to be who you are. So you walk along the path, feeling stronger and healthier with each step, feeling more confident about who you are. And as you travel along, you notice that there are times when there are obstacles in the way. And as you are paying attention and in the groove, you're easily able to walk around these obstacles without any challenge. Step over them. Whatever the case may be, you keep moving. You keep moving. And you realize that life is like that, an endurance event. Sometimes we rush to get somewhere fast, but we get there and we realize there's still a lot more life to go. So we pace ourselves and we find our groove, our integrity. And with the idea of integrity in our heart, let's bring our energy and attention back to the present moment and bring that integrity into the world, the reality of our everyday life. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. There you have it. That's the show for today. And I'm not going to be doing a show tomorrow. I don't think I will be Friday either. I'm going to be on the road. I'm leaving today, heading out. I'm going to be doing coverage over at the RNC, the Republican National Convention. We're going to go to the Democratic National Convention, up the Kennedy Space Center, get some stuff there, up Washington, D.C. So these next 3 weeks I'm going to be out and about, and you're going to be able to see different parts of the world and what's going on at these various events. So stay tuned, firstcontactradio.com. The information and links will be there, as well as the other project I'm involved with, Road Trip for Liberty. That's it. I'll talk to you very soon. Next time be from out on the road out there in Tampa, Florida. You have a great day. Talk to you. Peace. I'm out of here.